Joining us now is Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, a doctor from Michigan and former gubernatorial candidate. He's now running in the Senate Democratic primary in Michigan. Abdul, thanks so mumuch for joining us.
Good to see you.
It's always a privilege to be with you guys. Thank you for having me.
And so I covered your race back in 2018. I remember this one dearly. This was, you had this bizarre case of Sri Thravan, I forget his last name. He's now a member of Congress. We can talk about him in a moment. Was a front runner in the race until he completely fell apart, exposed basically for fraud. And Gretchen Whitmer and you were then the kind of remaining viable candidates, and she ends up winning the race, becoming Michigan governor, now kicked around as this national figure. You're coming back in a bid for Senate. What are the differences that you've seen on the ground in this cycle versus 2018, and what makes it plausible for you this time?
Yeah, Ryan, I appreciate you covering the race then, and it's great to talk to you again now. I said something at the time that I think in the zeitgeist, folks weren't quite ready to hear, which is that Donald Trump himself is not the disease in our politics. He's just the worst symptom of the disease. And the disease is a system by which corporations and billionaires and would-be oligarchs can buy politicians, buy access to regulation that they basically roll back in ways that empower huge corporations in our lives so that they can suppress the wages we earn and charge us more for the things that we have to buy from them. And I think 8 years on, people are a lot more willing to see that, both because Trump got reelected. So we dealt with the symptom, but it came back roaring because we never dealt with the disease. And also because things have just gotten harder for people, whether it is inflation, whether it is the fact that the economy has made it so that the job you worked yesterday is just less secure for you tomorrow, whether it's the impossibility of ever imagining you could buy a home if you're under the age of 35, or how hard it's been to stay in your home if you're over the age of 65. It's the incredible medical debt that people have accrued, $225 billion, which is more than the GDP of the majority of U.S. states. All of that has just made it harder to get by. I've been to 40-some different cities across my state, and no matter where I go, people just tell me, look, it just shouldn't be this hard. And I agree, which is why I'm running.
So, Doctor, I have a question for you about your potential role if you were to win the primary and to get elected. We had potential future colleague on, Alyssa Slotkin, here on our show, and she would not commit to new leadership in the Democratic Party. I know you've spoken about that with Chuck Schumer. So give us an idea of the type of candidates that you would support for Democratic leader and why you think that's important.
I've got a clear set of things that I want to accomplish for Michiganders and for the American public. The first is I want money, particularly corporate money and special interest money, out of politics. The second is I want to put more money in people's pockets by standing up to big corporations and trusts, making it easier to build and scale a small business, make it easier to join and form a union. And I want to pass Medicare for all. And whoever it is who's given me the best commitment to standing for those causes and giving us the best chance at passing that legislation, they're going to earn my vote. Look, I've got a lot of questions about current leadership, but I'm not willing to tell you I'm going this way or the other without knowing who my options are. Because if they give me John Fetterman, I'm certainly not voting for him. So all of that is to say that I'm going to vote my conscience based on what I'm seeing. The last point here that I also have to call out is the fact that we've got to be honest about how we are misappropriating our money abroad, sending blank checks to fund genocides abroad when we've got hungry kids here at home who deserve so much more and so much better. So rather than starving kids abroad, I want to feed our starving kids here at home. And so I'm going to support leadership that understands that, that has the moral clarity on those issues. And I'm going to make a choice between the options that I've got for folks who are vying for that leadership.